Why is Davabad falling apart? What are the Marid really up to? And do you have what it takes to be a Devabadi? Did you just say dead body?
A Davabadi.
Welcome to Mythic Mirror, the podcast for lovers of fantasy books who want to live rich and fulfilling and deep lives. I am your host, Mary C. Kehoe,
And I'm your co-host, Carolina Carter.
and we are in the same room together.
How exciting.
This is very exciting. Now, you're holding tea, so I'm going to hold tea.
We've
as well.
actually never been in the same room together before in our lives.
No one has ever seen us in the same room.
It's true.
Except you.
We would not lie to you.
All right, Carolina,
Yes.
we have just started the second book.
Yes.
How do you feel?
Everything's gone wrong. Everyone's suffering. It's a great book.
So good. First, how do you feel about the king?
Well, we haven't really seen him.
Yeah, that is what I found so interesting. You don't. Okay, the last thing we see of him in the first book, in City of Brass, is the heartbreaking scene of him banishing his son, knowing that his son's going to die. Thinking his son is going to die.
Is when Nari smiles at him in the
Oh,
throne room.
right.
smiling
You
at
do
her
see him
mark.
again, but you don't see like the
He
last
doesn't
time you see him
say
talk.
anything.
Yeah. And then the second book begins. We jump 5 years, and not until you're a quarter of the way through the book do you even see the king.
Mm-hmm.
But you see all the effects of things he's done, and you hear about Nari's mom saying how she was controlled in the same way that he's now controlling Nari through. Anytime you do something wrong, he'll, hurt someone you love. And you see him, he had done that with Ali as well.
Mm-hmm.
And so, go ahead.
Or just a stranger who happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. Nari, doesn't she go into a shop, not even thinking about it, and he brings the shopkeepers in and he's about to kill them, and she swears to never go out without his permission again.
Right. Yeah, because
Innocence.
yeah, for her, because there's not really anyone she loves, he just always takes it out on a Deva.
Right.
Which is what Nisreen says at the end of book 1. She's saying this always happens. Whenever any of us step out of line, he kills hundreds or something like that.
Right. Yeah.
So I begin to wonder, he says he wants peace, but I was thinking about this as I was gearing up my courage to begin book 2. He says he wants peace, but it's on his own terms, because he's keeping both the Devas and the Shafits as unhappy factions of his city. Yes, I know that there is the religious problem of Shafits and Devas thinking that, they shouldn't exist. But I think if you start to make both of them happy in other ways, especially economic ways, and they start to interact with each other, that will naturally fade with time. Like, plenty of religions have evolved out of hating each other, and plenty haven't.
It's not so much that he wants peace, he just wants quiet.
Or I think he wants peace, but in his own terms, under his control. And if he keeps both of these factions weak, then he can have a semblance of peace with him in control. That's my theory.
So you want to know if I still like him?
Yeah.
I don't know.
See, that's how I feel too. Because I just got to the scene. I just got to where you first see him again. And you don't see him again until he sees Ali, which I thought was an interesting choice.
Mm-hmm.
And you see him being the king. You see him being manipulative. And you see him doing the same thing that he's done to everybody else. And you also see him just so happy to see his son again. And they're both things are true at the same time. He's controlling his son, and he's doing things that is heartbreaking to his son, but he also loves him. And you're like, oh, this is rough. Yeah. So this brings me to my next question. for you. What if we forgave people or understood people in our real lives the same way we do in books?
No, absolutely not. Because, Mary,
Yes.
people in books are nuanced people.
And people in real
And
life aren't.
people in real life are basically, they're 2D. They might as well be on a page. Okay? They're not real. Whereas these characters have so much that enriches them.
Yeah. I think you're right. No, but it is true that in books you get to feel things. Like I was thinking about this with Dara specifically. You already know what he's done and but you feel how it is breaking him. You feel the regret and okay, he was ordered to do it. But there's war criminals that say the same thing. I was just following orders, and that never works. But with those people in real life, you don't feel regret. You can't step into their head and feel what they're feeling and know that it's actually real.
Right.
And so that I think that's one of the reasons that we can forgive in books easier. And it didn't happen to us. It's not actually in real life.
Right. You're like, yeah, he's a mean guy, but he's a good father.
Yeah, well, and Dara, my heart breaks pretty much in every scene with him.
Yeah, let's get to Dara because first of all, like they bring him back like that.
Mm-hmm.
If you didn't know we were gonna spoil the book, we did in the last episode. We'll put it
Listen, read the first quarter of the book
before watching this episode. Because at the end of the book, when they're talking about getting the ring to Manaiza and that they think that she can bring him back, I thought that would be maybe at the end of the second book. I thought it was going to be this whole like long quest to find Manaiza and get her this ring. No, right away, she's already brought him back, and she has brought him back as his worst fear. He is in the shape of an Ifrit.
Mm-hmm.
He does not have Suleiman's blessing anymore.
Mm-hmm.
He has
He's in the shape of the people who enslaved him, or the
yes,
Ifrit, the
yeah,
demons.
the demons.
He came back. So I made this joke to Carolina after we finished the book. I texted her that if the end of City of Brass was an RPG, a role playing game, it would look something like this: Dara, I want to break into the palace and save Nari and get out of the city. God, or the DM. Roll d20. I actually haven't played, so it might be roll for luck. I don't know, but roll d20. He rolls. He gets a 1. God, you fail utterly. You break Nari's trust. You kill a lot of people while enslaved. You die, and you get brought back as a demon.
That's about how the book's going so far.
That's it. So yeah, not only is he brought back in the shape he hates most, and he's outside of what he consider. Well, they kind of the Devas considered it a curse, but they still think the Ifrit are evil. Like he has a visceral reaction now to his own shape.
Yes.
Okay, let's talk about the lake. Have you gotten there yet? No. All right.
But
Let's
we can
talk
still
about the
talk
lake.
about it.
So they because the Marid used Ali to kill Dara, now the Marid the Ifrit say that the Marid owe Dara one. Like he can call in a favor. So in order to attract the Deva's attention, they have to kill one. In order to attract the Marid's attention, they have to kill a human who is still honors the Marid, who are there's not a lot of them. So of course Dara has to do it because he won't let his Nahid do it, who is
Manaiza.
Thank you. She listens to it. I read it, so it's it's better to hear from you.
Sticks in my.
And this part is so sad because he says like this is against what Solomon said. This is what he told us not to. We're not supposed to be dealing with humans, and killing them is definitely against the rules. Like this is abomination. And then it's either him or his beloved Nahid doing it. So of course he says he'll do it. And he doesn't want to. And then he's thinking about the Marid, and And then he remembers that the king had said that Nari looks the way she does because of a Marid curse. And that's what he thinks about in order to be able to get himself to kill this innocent human who honors the Marids, to anger the Marids to then talk to him. And we know that that's not even true, that the king lied. So you're just like, oh, another mark on his soul. And it's because people are lying to him. And then the Marids say to him, you're still working for those, you're still serving those who have done this to you, who have broken you, who've done this to you.
Mm-hmm. Which brings me to my point, which is like, it's kind of like we know the king is bad, kind of.
Yeah.
But the secret bad guy, I feel like, is Maniza.
Mm-hmm. There's a very important line that the priest, again, our beloved priest,
Yeah, we
see
love
him
him.
again, and he says to Nari, or no, maybe it was Nazreen. This is a very important line that he says to someone. I can't remember. Maybe it was both of them. But he says, oh yeah, he's talking to Nazreen and reminding her that the Devas have also done horrible things and not to forget that, and that Maniza would talk that way and it was bad for her soul.
Right.
So I think that you're right. I think you're totally right that in the end, I think this is going to be like the king against Maniza, and neither one of them are technically good.
And
Like, I think they're both willing to kill innocents in order to have power.
And everyone in the middle is going to suffer for it.
Yeah.
Speaking of everyone in the middle, were you understanding that Jamshed is Maniza and Kave's son?
That is what they are leading us to believe.
Okay.
Yeah. Because
Gross.
why?
I don't know. I didn't like it.
You didn't?
When they were
Yeah.
Dara walks in and Kave is walking out of her
Like,
private sleeping quarters, and I was like, gross. Didn't like that at all.
oh. Yeah, I didn't really have an emotion about it. I was like, yeah, that makes sense. Oof.
Do it on your own time. Don't put it in the book. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to read it.
Yeah. So then imagine how mad the king would be.
Very,
very mad. But it also makes sense as to why she never married him, with him,
oh yeah,
using. So she says that, which who everybody's lying, so who knows? But
she's messing around with the wazir.
we have seen him do it to other people, so I tend to believe that she was controlled. He would hurt her brother every time she would go against him.
Which, where is he?
See, I don't know. Is he dead? It seems like he's dead.
It's a little
but I don't know.
suspicious that Maniza is still around and her brother's not to be seen.
Yeah. Yeah, because they supposedly died at the same time. So,
But where is he?
Exactly. I've been wondering that too.
I don't like it.
No.
You know what else I don't like?
What?
I don't like that Jamshed is walking around with a cane. So I don't know if we've already said, but this book starts 5 years after the last book. Yeah, we did. You said that. So Jamshed is alive, thank goodness, but he didn't wake up. You find out he didn't wake up for years. A year. And he's still healing, but he's walking with a cane. He's no longer Muntadir's right-hand man. He's been demoted, and he's pretty depressed.
Yeah. And we know why it's going on, but he doesn't, and neither does Nari.
Oh yeah, because she can't help him. Her magic
isn't working because whatever that seal is that's on him, the tattoo thing,
that keeps his
Nariness. No,
yeah,
Nahidness.
at bay.
Yeah. So he can't be healed, and his innate healing powers are not working. So it's just this slow going, and they don't know why, so they keep trying.
Right.
Which then answers the question that he doesn't know, because in the end of the first book, we didn't know if he knew who he was or not.
And he don't.
He don't. So what was? Oh yeah. So speaking of also speaking of people in the middle who are suffering, I feel like, there's two ways that Dara's storyline could go. Either there is some healing, and he is able to heal and be unbroken, at least somewhat, and happy, or they just keep doing this to him, and he just keeps breaking himself for his nahids, and then death is relief. Just I'm afraid that's where we're going, especially since he got to have, or we got to see him have a near death experience where he gets to see his sister, and he is outside of a garden, and he knows once he goes into the garden there's people there to meet him, and you get the feeling that that's like, he's being able to heal and rest before meeting his, like, the
Maker.
next, yeah, his maker, or and which I thought was really cool. You don't get to see that very often in fantasy books
Mm-hmm.
of the other side. So I really liked that. But it definitely made me feel like, because then it hurts to come back, and he has that comment about, like, when a Jinn sees him and says, "You're supposed to be dead," and he says, "I was, and now I'm back," and there's bitterness about it.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like at the end he's gonna die. That's what I feel like. But
But at
but
that
I feel
point,
like he'll be happy about it.
we might be happy
Yeah,
about it at that point.
I know, and I just don't. That's gonna be hard.
Right.
I don't want to see him become a monster. I don't.
He already is one.
Shut up.
You. Would you like to lighten the moment with a Discworld delight?
Yeah, let's switch to good old Sir Terry Pratchett.
Everybody did so good. Pyramids, pyramids, pyramids across the board.
Yay!
You people are amazing guessers. Now for this week.
Dun, dun, dun.
Do you want to go back and forth?
Oh, okay, yeah. Where are we heading from?
I'll start.
Okay.
Caves, said Brutha,
Snakes,
but still caves.
in conjunction with snakes.
Poisonous snakes?
Guess.
What's that from?
Dun dun dun. All right, now that we're back, let's talk about the actual two main characters of this book. We haven't really yet.
Yeah. So Nari, she marries Muntadir.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that in this book of terrors, that her wedding night was one of the few tender, kind scenes in the whole book. They don't do anything. Muntadir says, "I will not touch you tonight," and he's very respectful. And they have a moment of connection,
Yeah.
and I was really relieved about that.
Yeah. Yeah. Whenever I think of Montadir, I think of the line from Gemshed when he and Nari are looking at the statue of Dara, and she says, he asks if she goes there, and she said, "No, that's not the Dara I knew." And then she says, I shouldn't be talking to you about this, of all people. And he says that he understood, and that it's hard to see what this city turns our loved ones into, or something like that. And
Mm-hmm.
he's talking about Montadir, and it is hard. You see, and Nari sees it too, where she talks about how she looks at him as someone that the king's already broken, and that she refuses to follow suit.
Mm-hmm.
And then now Ollie's coming back, and Montadir's terrified that he's going to be killed. That Montadir's going to be killed so that Ollie can be the heir. The king. Speaking of what my guess about him, that that sending him away, breaking his heart. Now, when Ollie comes back and sees him, and the reader sees him for the first time, he looks 100 years older. Like, he's really suffered, and Davabad has suffered, which we know. They mentioned that his Ollie's mother, they started a trade war, so they are putting the economic pressure on Davabad for what they did to Ollie, or what he did to Ollie. But why, like, it seems like he's lost it a little bit. It seems like the king's lost his ability to rule a little bit, because there's the economic problem, but now, like, when Ollie comes back, the first thing he sees, and you wonder, is did the king do this on purpose because nobody met him, and this is set up to be right on your way to the palace.
Mhm.
So, and you know how much he controls things. So you wonder if this was a point he was making to Ollie about this is what Davabot is and testing him, because the first thing he sees is a slave market, pretty much, where where his people, his tribe, are not selling but taking money for shafit, to so other jinn could buy these shafit as like, oh, this is your long lost relative, you could have him back if you pay us. And it's horrible. And so Ali comes over and sells, he gives him his Zephalker in order to save this father and daughter. And when he meets the king, and the king says something about, right as he's leaving, the king says, I also arranged for something else of yours to be returned. Make sure you're more careful with it in the future, or something like that. And he gets back to his room, which has not been touched. It looks exactly like it did the day he left, except for he can tell his dad has been going to Ollie's prayer rug and sitting there. This guy's heartbroken. So it's like the dad, you feel so much for the dad part of the king,
Mhm.
but then the king part of the king is out there letting, he's having slave markets, which is so very against their whole tribe's ethos. When Ali comes, he comes with two of his tribesmen from the north who've never been to Davabad, and they are just revolted at seeing this. To
Mhm.
this is an utter betrayal of their people.
Right. It does seem that with Ali went the king's heart and sanity, and it does seem that Muntadir, and maybe that is why Muntadir is so afraid of him, because he tends, even though he's a bit insufferable, he tends to win people over, and people believe in him and follow him. And Muntadir just doesn't have that. I don't know if it's charisma or just like, because Ali has these principles that he's very passionate about, and Muntadir's just kind of like, I would like to read poetry and drink wine.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. I think they both have it, but to different types of people.
Hmm.
I think the nobles of all of the tribes love Montadir and feel
Hmm.
comfortable with him and feel like they can talk to him and are unnerved by Ali. But the military
Right.
and the everyday people and the rest of his tribe outside of Davabad
Hmm.
would definitely follow Ali.
And it doesn't help anything that he sent Ali away to die, only to have him become this hero to this tribe.
Yeah.
I don't think we've touched on that, but he creates an oasis with his new water powers, and this tribe that's been suffering and starving is now all of a sudden flourishing. Um, and on that note, while he's bringing this prosperous energy and life force to these people, Devabad is suffering. They're not getting the taxes from different tribes. The hot set is being set. Muntadir and Ali's sister is being set up to marry an old nobleman, basically for his money. It's all looking very bleak.
Yeah. And that's actually something I wanted to talk about with Ali. And this is something I thought we could take in some ways for ourselves. Of he So he loses everything. He's sent out into the desert to be killed. And instead, yes, he's got the magic now, so that they save him because water is pouring out of him. So he could have just been really bitter and locked down in himself on everything that he's lost, and just revolving around that, and you know practicing fighting, and getting everybody geared up to fight and get his life back, because the life that he had is what matters. And instead, he continues with his passions of engineering and science, and he doesn't just, oh, I have magic, look, water, great, like now you have water, and I found a spring over here, it's great. We've got water, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Instead, he's like, okay, we're going to irrigate this whole place and we're going to study from the humans and find out how they do it and bring all of this
Right.
science
Yeah.
and you know, here's a well that I've discovered and now we're going to irrigate it over to here and these lands over here will have water. And you learn about all the engineering that he's done and how he spies on humans to learn things and it just I it's so endearing
Mm-hmm.
and inspiring
Mm-hmm.
because
And his faith is renewed too.
yeah and that part of it he didn't do with magic, he did it with his own prowess and his mind.
Mm-hmm.
So
His mind prowess.
his mind prowess, so we could use our mind palace and prowess. we
If
just
we
if
just
we just
tried.
had some.
If we. Mm. Anyway.
um oh, here's another this is apropos of nothing.
Apropos of nothing.
I think this is just an interesting guess of mine. I think that the Deva religion is based on Zoroastrianism because
Oh.
yeah, because it's the original, well, I don't who's to say what's original, but it was the religion of Persia before Islam. So
Mm-hmm.
all the rest of the jinn, all the rest of the jinn all follow Islam, and the Devas follow the what the jinn call them fire worshippers,
Mm-hmm.
which fire is a huge part of Zoroastrianism, and the creator. So anyway, it just sounds very Zoroastrianism to me, which I like in terms of history. It's cool. I love it when even if it's not spelled out, you get the feeling. You're like, oh
You get a taste here and there and be like, wait,
yeah,
that is familiar.
yeah,
Okay, so then back to Nari. She is who I feel the most for and am also the most impressed by because absolutely everyone is lying to her. The king is lying to her. Muntadir is probably the most honest person with her in her life where they're like, we have no choice. We don't love each other. Here's where we're at. And even on their wedding night when she has this moment of honesty with him where she's like, and I thought if I was nice to you, maybe I could get you to rebel against your father. And he's like, I am a Katani through and through. I will never revolt against my father. And it's kind of this moment of like that it's cold, but it's also like just true
yeah.
honesty.
Here's the line.
But Dara lied to her. Nisreen is lying to her.
Yeah, she doesn't know that Dara's alive.
She doesn't know Dara's
5 years.
She doesn't know Manai's is alive. Her mother is alive.
And I will say, on behalf of Nazreen, she is trying to get Maniza to let her tell Nari, but Maniza won't let her.
And she leveraged her marriage to Muntadir to get so much out of the king, which much of she's given away to start hospitals, to start to help
Girls' school.
a girls' school, to do a lot of charitable things. So I mean, she is absolutely doing her best, and it's just like is just does not have a firm foundation. She's just standing on shaky ground at all times, has zero freedom.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and when her and is it Jamshed or
Mm-hmm.
Jemshed? Is it E or A?
I say Jamshed.
Okay. When he and Nari try to help these Devas that are being like their house is being ransacked by the police, by the guard,
Right.
and the husband and the son are being arrested and they try to help and the guard is horrible to her and says that he would happily kill her. He and he's talking to the wife of the emir. She's that powerless. That was I don't know, that shocked me.
That was a really hard part to read.
Yeah, because even
And the woman says to her, "How can you protect me when you cannot even protect yourself?"
mhm.
And it's just you realize how powerless she is.
And that's when I started to be concerned also for Montadir, because if the king is allowing his soldiers to treat his son's wife that way, they're not going to have respect for the son.
Right, because they threaten to bring the emir, and the soldiers say, "We don't answer to him,"
Yeah.
which is not good.
Yeah.
We're gearing up for more heartbreak, I can tell. And we're going to love it.
She's going to love it.
I love to suffer. And if you too love to suffer, read along Kingdom of Copper. And if you don't like to suffer, you should sign up for Mary's reading list. She has a short story out now in preparation for her upcoming debut novel.
Yes.
And you can find that at maryckehoe.com.
Yeah. And if you want to buy this book, Kingdom of Copper, you can check out the link below to our bookshop.org shop.
It supports small booksellers and also us.
Yeah. So go ahead, buy the book.
Yeah.
Suffer along with us.
Suffer with us. We'll support you back emotionally.
Now, speaking of suffering, we haven't done our sparks of the week.
Oh, spark of the week.
So we're done suffering. Now we're happy.
What's your spark?
My spark was actually doing taco night with you.
Oh,
we did homemade tortillas and hung out.
They were delicious.
And
what did we watch?
We watched Psych.
Psych. You out in the end. You're gonna have to cut that out.
Oh, why?
I don't know. It's great. Also a great TV show. You can watch it. It doesn't support us at all.
Go ahead, watch it wherever you want.
If
you will get nothing from it.
If you just don't want to read, put on the TV and watch Psych.
Oh, what was your spark of the week?
Well, that was mine.
Oh, well, shoot. That's cute.
Yeah.
All right. We shall see you next week. And we're so grateful to be spiraling around through the universe with you.
It's not always worth it, but it is easy.
Whew. That's good.
Okay, you go.
We're so grateful to be spiraling through the universe with all of you. It's not always easy, but no good story ever is.